The sun bled orange over the ridges of Willow Creek as Ethan Cole tightened the saddle on his mare. Daisy. The ranch stretched endlessly before him. Acres of golden grass, creaking fences, and barns that echoed with emptiness. For 6 long years, silence had been his only companion. The day Clara died, or so he believed, something inside him turned to stone. He buried himself in work, mending fences by day and talking to ghosts by night. Folks in town whispered that Ethan had lost his mind, that he still set a plate at the table for a woman who was never coming home. But what they didn't know was how deep love can dig into a man's soul, and how hard it is to pull out the roots. That morning the wind had a strange whisper to it, almost like a calling. He was loading hay into the wagon when he heard small voices behind him. At first he thought it was the wind again, but then came a soft, clear sound. "Daddy?" Ethan froze, his heart thudding like hooves on dry ground. Slowly he turned around, and what he saw made his knees weaken. 2 little girls, no older than 5 or 6, stood by the gate. They were identical. Same flaxen hair, same blue eyes that mirrored the sky. One held a small locket in her hand, the other a worn-out teddy bear. "Daddy," the first whispered again, as if testing the word. Ethan blinked, trying to make sense of it. "Whose girls are you?" he asked, his voice rough like gravel. But when the locket caught the sunlight, something inside him shattered. It was Clara's locket, the one he'd given her on their first wedding anniversary. The same locket he had found years ago, near the wreckage when her wagon was attacked by outlaws. He had buried that locket with her memory. "Where did you get this?" His voice trembled as he knelt to their level. The girl holding it looked confused. "Mama gave it to us. She said it belonged to you." The world seemed to tilt. Ethan's breath caught. "Who's your mama?" he whispered. Though he already knew the answer, his heart feared. "Clara Cole," the other girl said softly. "She told us if we ever get lost, find Daddy in Willow Creek." Ethan stumbled back, eyes burning with disbelief. It couldn't be. Clara had died. The sheriff himself had told him. But here were 2 small pieces of her standing right before him. "Where is she?" he asked, his voice cracking. "Is she—" The girls looked at each other nervously. "Mama's hurt," one said. "She told us to find you. She said you'd know what to do." Without another word, Ethan swung into the saddle. "Show me," he said, extending a hand. The girls climbed up behind him, clutching his vest tightly as Daisy galloped through the dusk. The air grew heavy with dust and fear. They rode past the old creek bend, through the canyon, a place he hadn't dared visit since the day Clara was taken from him. The past clawed at him with every hoofbeat, and then he saw it. A small abandoned cabin, its door swinging open in the wind. Ethan dismounted, his boots sinking into the soft earth. The girls followed, their eyes wide. Inside the cabin, a faint light flickered, and there, lying on a worn cot, was Clara. Pale, weak, but alive. For a moment the world went silent. Ethan's chest heaved as he took a shaky step forward. "Clara?" he whispered. Her eyes fluttered open. When she saw him, a tear rolled down her cheek. "I told them you'd find us," she said, her voice barely above a breath. The past and present collided in that cabin. Ethan dropped to his knees, taking her hand as if afraid she'd vanish again. The girls clung to each other, watching as the man they just met wept over the woman they called Mama. Outside, the sun sank behind the hills, painting the sky in fire, the same color as the love that had never truly died. Morning broke soft and silver over Willow Creek, the kind of morning that feels like a promise. Ethan stood by the porch of the cabin, his weathered hands trembling as he poured water into a tin cup. Behind him, Clara slept, breathing weakly but steadily. The girls were curled up beside her, small bundles of life that made his heart ache with wonder. He still couldn't wrap his mind around it. 6 years. 6 years believing she was gone. When Clara finally stirred, her whisper broke the silence. "You never stopped looking, did you?" Ethan turned, emotion thick in his throat. "I buried my heart the day they said you were dead. I stopped living, Clara. I just worked this ranch like a ghost." Tears welled in her eyes. "They took me," she said softly. "Outlaws. They thought they killed me when they burned the wagon, but I escaped, barely. I hid in the mountains for weeks. Then the fever came, and then the girls. They're ours, Ethan." He swallowed hard, staring at the twins through the open door. They were laughing softly now, playing with Daisy's mane. "I can't believe I missed all that," he said, voice breaking. "Their first words, their first steps." Clara reached out a trembling hand. But you're here now. That's all that matters. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something warm bloom in his chest. Hope. He helped her outside, the morning light wrapping around them like an old friend. The girls ran to them, giggling, their tiny hands reaching for both parents. Clara smiled faintly. They kept me alive, she whispered. Every time I thought I couldn't go on, I'd tell them about their father, the man who could fix anything, even broken hearts. Ethan knelt, pulling them all close. I thought I'd lost everything, he said, his voice thick. But maybe God just needed me to wait until I was ready to be a father the right way. The girls laughed, one tugging his beard. Does that mean we can stay? She asked. Ethan smiled for the first time in years. Forever, he said. Weeks passed. Clara grew stronger. The ranch, once quiet and cold, now rang with laughter and life. Ethan built a new swing by the old oak, fixed the porch rail Clara used to lean on, and every night they'd sit together, watching the stars rise over Willow Creek. The past still haunted them, but love had built something stronger than loss, a home. And as the camera fades on the sight of the family gathered on the porch, Ethan's voice echoes softly. Sometimes, the things you think are gone forever find their way back home.